Oh man. Oh, no power. Where's all the power gone? Who's got all the power? Oh. Hey, did one of you kids put all the power in a cardboard box over here? I just woke up. As you can tell, I still have my morning hair. Yeah. And the power's out. So we're gonna go into our no power mode. This is a regular occurrence here, and coincidentally, I do have from just this week an AllPowers battery bank. So seems like the right time to open that up and have a look. Maybe charge some things up. Alright, first things first is it's freezing outside, so we're gonna get our wood stoves going. Go in here, get some kindling lit, get some hardwood in there, and then we can boil coffee, boil water for coffee, cook some eggs. And my daughter already got this fire going. So aside from house heat, the main thing I worry about is food storage, so I do have a freezer full. Oh, I forgot that I bought steaks on sale. I have a freezer full of food and my prepper stash, some food storage. I just want to make sure that none of that gets frozen. We don't have to have the house at 20 degrees Celsius. We just need it warm enough that we don't freeze, and maybe not so warm that the freezers start to melt. They're usually good for about 3 days in a power outage anyway. They are very well insulated. Of course, the pumps don't work in a power outage, so you got about as much water as is pressurized in your tank. But I do have some surface water nearby that's quite clean that I can access. So we'll go get a couple buckets for flushing toilets and for warming up dishwater, and critical morning activity of making some coffee here. Looks like I got enough from the tap for that. And that just goes on the wood stove. Takes a long time though. I guess we'll take advantage of this window light here and open this guy up. Let's see. These are super helpful units to have for a million different reasons, one of which is today's power outage. And there we go. 600 watts. It's got a 12-volt cigarette lighter adapter. It's got a light on it. It's got a power button. It's got some USB-C, some USB-A's. Looks good. So this one came with a solar panel. I take that back. It came with a fancy solar panel. It's in its own case and everything. That's cool. Sorry about the lighting. I don't have any power. Ah! Look at that big fold open panel. So what do we want here? Let's get some juice in this so we can power up our devices today. It's got an input, it's got an output. 59% power. Here we go. Okay, so that solar panel is 100 watts, and it's a pretty good amount of wattage in a fold-up panel like that. And these extra cables are so that you can directly power devices at the same time that you're charging your AllPowers battery bank. So they've got a couple of options for, I guess these are fairly standard laptop or device power plugs and extra cabling that attaches to the panel, and this extension cord which will plug into these barrel plugs. And then of course this is the optional wall charging cable, which is no good to me today because I have no power, but I have AllPowers. Okay, so if I'm prioritizing my power during a power outage, first thing I'm going to do is make sure that my house is warm, which I use fire for that. Then I might take inventory on how much power is stored in devices that are already in my home. So if I have a power bank, if I have a laptop, I have cordless tool batteries, flashlights. You might be surprised how many little things you have around your house that are holding power that may also be able to output that power. So for example, some solar, or not solar, but powered flashlights have an output option. So you can charge your phone or other devices off of them if they have a big enough battery. And I have some cordless batteries with, and you've seen these in my videos if you've watched my channel, but they are Greenworks, so they have an inverter, and so I can run or power devices off of that battery backup. But what AllPowers brings is a solar powered system that you can set up, and it's rated for -20 degrees to 60 degrees Celsius, so pretty much like the most of the temperature ranges that you're going to find yourself in. And so you can actively, whenever there's sunshine, be producing power and then storing it in the AllPowers unit. Or another strategy that you can have is you can plug in your chargers for your cordless tools. You plug in your laptop, you plug in your phones, your batteries, all those devices, and you start to spread that power out into your, call it a personal battery bank collection. Because we probably all have more lithium powered devices than you might think. So got that set up. Next step for me is to do a little flashlight inventory and make sure those are powered up in case this power outage runs through into the evening. That would be kind of my first priority. For a one-day power outage doesn't bother me too much, but it's really nice to have power at night. And if it runs much longer than that, then I'll be looking at ways to get some power into my freezers. Like, what do I hear? It's my daughter on her phone, wasting all of her precious power on music. Alright, let's go look at flashlights. There's the sun that I've been waiting for. Oh. It's beeping. Must be making some power. Let's have a little look here. So, right now, that 100-watt panel is bringing in about 48 watts. And this was at 59% at noon. And I kind of left it in the sun, but the sun's moved while I was away. Just went out for a little adventure with the girls and my mom. And it's charged up to 95%. Let's plug in some things. Let's charge some batteries. So I learned two valuable lessons out of this experience. Number one, when you get a voicemail from a 1-800 number, it might be your hydro utility letting you know that there's a planned power outage, which was the case in this instance, where I didn't realize there was a planned power outage of a set duration. And it was just kind of a coincidence that the power went out, and I had this new AllPowers R600 to unbox, which I hadn't previously tested. So the second lesson is that you should always test your emergency equipment that you're relying on. And it just so happened that the unit that shipped to me had an error code that I couldn't resolve. But I was very quickly able to deal with their customer service department and send them a little video of the error code and what was happening, and they immediately shipped me a replacement unit. So got a little bit of sunshine coming down today, and powering up the new unit, powering up some devices, so I'll show you how that looks. So I've got the panel set up in full sun, and it's currently bringing in about 60 watts of power and charging up the battery bank. I've got two USB devices plugged in, so I'm powering up two separate headlamps right now, which are really important in a power outage situation. You really need to have some good lights, and I'm getting these guys charged up because I have a deer hunt coming up soon, and It's good to have a flashlight with you, but it's even better to have two. And I plugged in my Makita battery for all my power tools, and it's fully charged. I think this battery was charged already, so I'm going to switch it out for one that needs to be charged. Okay, we'll get that guy powering up here. So now I've got 60 watts coming in on the panel and 46 watts going out. I think this guy's drawing 45 watts, and these guys together are just drawing 1 watt. And right now, with this full sunlight, that AllPowers unit is going to be storing up some power while also distributing to some of my devices. So if I needed to, I could add, you know, I got more plugs. I could be charging up a couple of phones or an emergency radio. Some of those items that I might need. I can plug in a second AC outlet, which would allow me potentially to be charging 2 of my cordless batteries for all my tools. So having those charged up means that I have a little electric chainsaw. I could be cutting some firewood for cooking in an outage or heating. You know, if it's a hurricane or something, I could be boarding up my windows with my electric driver and so on. So I'm going to let this run for a couple hours while there's still sunlight and power up these devices. And, you know, additionally, there's that wireless port on top, so I could be charging a device there and getting me through a little power outage, or if I'm in like a remote, like an off-grid situation or camping, as long as I've got sun, I can be powering up all of my necessary devices. And, you know, let's face it, we carry a lot of electronic devices now for camping and off-grid purposes. So emergency radios, flashlights, and a small battery bank are things that I almost always have on me. I also have like an electric plasma lighter for starting fires and things like that. And this unit seems to be a really effective device. It's not too heavy, but it's got that lithium phosphate battery in it. It's got a good operating temperature range. You know, I had good experience with their customer support, so I'm really happy with that. If you're checking the description below, I'll have a link to the website for this AllPowers unit, and you might want to pick one up for your emergency power situation or for some camping purposes or whatever you might need one for. These are really excellent too if you are reliant on a CPAP machine for supplying oxygen while you're sleeping. If you've got sleep apnea or another condition, this is like a very portable unit for something like that too, and definitely going to lend this to a friend who's going to use it for those purposes when we go camping. The panels are pretty straightforward. I like the way they fold up. Everything seems pretty solid. They've got some little loops on them if you want to hang them from a tree, or maybe if you're out canoeing, you kind of can tie those down so it's out in the sun. It's got a very simple kind of a tripod support there. And the other thing I like is that it's got a nice big pouch on the back of the panel, which allows you to store all the cables you need. Oh, it's got two handy tripods. That's better. No, it doesn't look as crooked. Looking good. Looking good, AllPowers.